During the live stream, Gambino, there are 3 eyes there, asks, would you ever sell your Vader items? That is a fantastic question. And let me go ahead and answer it by eating out of one of my Vader items. Vader brains. Tastes a lot like popcorn with nooch sprinkled on it. Would I ever? No. I thought about it, and that's my answer. That's my final answer. No. It's funny. I was reading a tweet that was linking off to an article that I didn't bother to read, talking about what we should do when we die. Like, they say, well, you can't take your digital life with you. I'm like, well, I don't want my digital life. But you should bury me, absolutely, with all my Star Wars stuff. It's going to be a big grave. A little bit of gallows humor there. I don't think I ever could sell my Vader stuff. That said, I could sell Star Wars stuff, especially if I had a duplicate. I've been amassing a few things, some extras, if you will, and not with the express intent to sell them necessarily, but I know that inevitably they could be sold, and I wouldn't feel horrible about it. The Vader stuff, I don't see that happening. I don't think I could. Diana worried about that. Diana said, what happens if you no longer like Star Wars? And when she asked me that, it's just not something that I think is feasible or even possible. Star Wars is about the only thing on this planet that doesn't upset me. That's true. So, with your question, Gambino, would you ever sell your Vader items? My answer is no. Because in collecting them, in having them, that's the one thing that I feel that I can look at and not be upset. And I can remember in certain cases where certain Vader items came in from. Star Wars in general, Star Wars items, because my collection, of course, is all over. The reason why this play shop, this home office of sorts, is the way it is largely due to wanting to look around and feeling like I've got a personal connection with this space. And selling a bit of that space, I think, would be difficult, unless I had a duplicate or it was broken. I do have somewhat of an emotional attachment to these things, and some people have an emotional attachment to experiences. I'm not necessarily one of those people outright. Like, if you were to ask me, okay, Chris, we're going to give you this exclusive Star Wars thing, or you can fly to one of the places that they shot scenes for Star Wars, some part of the Star Wars universe or galaxy, whatever. I would have to think very, very long about what I would choose, but it would probably skew more heavily towards that item. I don't know why necessarily. I'm a collector, and as you will see with the home office tour, I collect dust too. Let me go ahead and show you, specifically with a part of the home office that I totally forgot to record the other day. It's a perfect opportunity to showcase some of the items that are priceless to me. Yes, some of them are commonplace, like the figures or collectible tissues. I do happen to have a few astromechs over here as well and strewn about because I didn't really have a big shelf to accommodate them anywhere else in this room. But behind them, you'll see a variety of Darth Vader objects, including this. From Man Cave Hobbies, that's the handle he goes by now, all the way from the UK, a 3D printed rainbow Darth Vader. It's one of a kind. Yes, obviously, it's based on a model, and it could be replicated a billion times over. Well, maybe not that much. I mean, the planet's only so big. But the fact that Heath, printed this for me, sent it overseas, and it's unique, it stands out, it's a gift, and it's got a story to it. I couldn't sell that, not because it's not worth anything. It's worth a lot. To me, it's got sentimental value because there's a story behind it. And above here, and definitely above the dust, I've got a pink Darth Vader helmet. Now, I'd seen this online for a number of years and never picked it up. Had it on my wish list. This, however, did not come from the internet. It came by way of Matt Martin, who at that time was running social media for Star Wars. And I met Matt in person when I did the YouTube video in the Star Wars YouTube channel, the live broadcast on a Force Friday where we unboxed a series of Star Wars merch. I had the honor of being last in that day and doing it with a live audience. It was so much fun. It was like 3-4 minutes long. It was a thrill of a lifetime. I almost panicked myself, like completely out of consciousness, but it worked. And right after, Matt came up to me and we shook hands. It was amazing. He took me on a brief tour of the offices. I mean, they look like offices apart from being at Lucasfilm, but he had this on his shelf. And I mentioned, yeah, I'd been thinking about getting that in my collection. And he said, hey, do you want it? So he gave this to me on a day that was easily one of the best days of my entire life. Something that I wanted, something that fits very well within this collection, something that's got a story to it, and yes, something that I could have picked up anywhere else, and I might have, or I might not have, but it's the fact that it came from Matt, and it's the fact that it came from Heath, and it's a fact that so many of these things have come from other people. Yeah, I've ordered probably more than I've been gifted over time, but still, so many stories to be had. Including with these crayons, these carvings, there's an artist who effectively does this with a variety of characters in Crayola crayons, and I happened to get one of the very first Darth Vaders that he carved. Later on, a few years later, he started adding color to the carvings, so I ended up getting an updated version of Darth Vader, and he remembered me from this particular order. And I have both of them on display here. So there's a story behind that. Like, that's awesome. How could that be replaced with anything? Like, this isn't just a series of random objects to me. This is life experiences and friendships and connections and memories and fun and happiness. So thank you for sharing the happiness with me. May the Force be with you, always.